Welcome to the next episode of Software Design from the Beginning. I'm Jonathan. Welcome. We're going to talk about paradigms, but not object-oriented paradigms or domain-driven design or something like that. We're going to zoom all the way out and we're going to look at almost the philosophy of it, right? How can we trust object-oriented or domain-driven design? What's making it fit, right? Why do we use those paradigms in software? Are they any good, right? Are they leading us down a pathway that's bad, right? How do we think and reason about object-oriented and all those things? So we're going to take a sideways look, a little bit zoom out sideways. We're going to look at structuralism. We're diving into philosophy a little bit. We're going to look at structuralism and maybe just one element of structuralism or post-structuralism, but we're going to look at it from a point of view of domain-driven design, or at least domain types of language for designing. So I'm just going to switch over to our board and I'm going to demonstrate what I'm talking about, and then we'll jump in. What I mean is, what word do we place here? What does that word mean? Where does it come from? And if I put something like a book here, does the book sit on the table? Do we understand that concept? Is there a relationship between these two things? What does that even mean, a table? Is it really a table? What is a table? This is what we're going to look at now. So let's go move across over here. And this is kind of what we're looking at here. I'm trying to show in this episode the sort of connection between the domain language, some kind of paradigm like object-oriented, and how they fit together for you to design something, what you kind of need to know, in other words, to design boxes and lines. And if that's what you're doing, then how do you fit this together and reason about it? How do you know you're doing the right thing? And instead of going into object-oriented, which is something you'll probably learn and look on YouTube for videos, countless videos, we're going to go into structuralism and look at that from a different angle. So, signified and signifier. So structuralism pointed out that the concept of table and what the table actually is not as tightly coupled as you might think. The word table is just a word. It is a sound. How could it bear any resemblance or any meaning or any association to the actual thing, which is a table? So we call this the signifier, the word, the term. It's just the sound. It could be anything. If you substitute it for a different language, in Dutch or in German, you might see, well, that's not the same word. It's a different sound. Well, that proves that table and the word, the term, is only there by association of some kind, by our learning of it. We understand that the symbol represents the thing. But does it represent the thing as well as we think it does? So if I draw a box here and I say book, what is a book? Does it include a magazine? Now, our interpretation of book and magazine might be different. Different cultures, size. Can we say that a book is not a magazine if it's paperback? Right? Maybe it's a soft and it's even thinner than the magazine. Maybe the magazine is a set size. Maybe the size, the dimensions of the magazine have to be within a range. But all of these attributes that we put onto it creates other kinds of qualities. So if I say size, well, this and this refers to it. If I think that size is the main issue between a book and a magazine, of course. But there are many things that formulate this relationship. Structuralism is basically the idea that we don't understand this term in isolation. We only understand it within the context of where it sits, the relationships with yet other terms. So all the terms together equals something that we can understand or reason about. And we can be much more clearer about a particular concept if we understand all the related concepts. Okay, so what's that got to do with design? Let's have a look. Okay, I've prepared some boxes for us. Let's have a look. I'm going to take concept 1 and open it up and say book. There it is. It's a box. It is labeled with a term, a signifier, named book. What is it? What sort of system am I designing? Is it a library? What is this? Is it a bookshop? What is the book referring to? What domain are we in? If I reveal this, what are you going to see? Let's say actor. Well, book and actor, how do they relate? What am I referring to by actor? Do I mean an actor in a film? Do I mean some kind of abstract actor, as in the actor of the system? Is this an author who wrote the book? What kind of actor is this? Is this indeed a book? Is this what we're talking about? Let's have a look. Date, time, primary contact, number of tickets. Okay. So I've not drawn relationships between this, but let's assume they are. Book, actor, date, time, primary contact, number of tickets. Does this still feel like a library? Does it still feel like a book with an author? We have a primary contact. What could that be? The number of tickets for an actor? Are we visiting an actor who wrote a book? Is he signing? Is it a book signing? Right? Number of tickets we have to enter. Do we have to purchase a ticket in order to talk to an actor? Is it the other way around? Is the actor perhaps somebody, in the theater? Right? Is it a film? Are we booking something? Are we booking an actor? And we have to talk to their primary contact, which is the agent. What is the domain? Well, so far, it could be many things because we do not have enough signifiers. Even though these signified things are words and we understand each of these terms, the relationships between them really make sense or not. In this case, we could be very ambiguous here. We don't know which direction we're going in. So the relationship between these terms really, really matter. Let's go to the next concept. Theater seat numbers. Okay, it's becoming a little bit more clear. Number of tickets represents perhaps some seat numbers in a theater. Oh, it's an actor in a theater, seat numbers. Primary contact, not sure. Maybe that's the person who purchased. Maybe they are booking their number of seats and that's the primary contact. Perhaps. Right? Maybe that's the role. The actor is literally on the stage, right? So it has nothing to do with the booking process. Does that suit? Is that the right domain? Let's have a look. Operation assistant lecturer. Okay, that's interesting. So now there is an operation. Is that a surgical operation? Is that medical? Assistant lecturer. Is this booking, number of tickets and seats in a theater for an operation? Is this medical students now? The domain is very difficult to understand in terms of words or terms, signifiers by themselves. In fact, even relationships, if relationships lines are not here, you can be very, very ambiguous, right, about the relationships unless it's clearly defined. Unless I actually draw lines between these things, how can I be sure as to what the domain actually is? And the word book is ambiguous. The word actor is ambiguous. When we design systems, we have to understand that words are simply abstractions. They are already abstractions. Right? A book is just another abstraction, and you can go down one level. Maybe I'm going into post-structuralism now, but there are conceptual layers to abstractions. So when I say that we have a book could be an item, and an item could be sold, but it's stock. So how we look at that word can change, and the terms and the signifiers can change. Therefore, almost the role changes. The role of book could be altered depending on its position in the world, right? So for example, actor could be an entirely different role depending on which part of this domain you're looking at or what relationship you're looking at. The actor could be the theater actor. There could also be an actor for the author of the booking if it was a book, right? Or doing the booking, as in primary contact. Those could be one and the same. There are many ways to look at this. So it's important to understand that every term that we use is abstract already. And we can't be sure. You can't just understand and think to yourself, oh, they'll get that. They'll understand that. It's called manager, booking manager. Not really. Words are abstract. If you have a manager and then a manager of a manager, is that a manager? Words thrown together in some way to create a term doesn't help you understand the concept. It doesn't help you understand the picture. What does is an elegant set of relationships between terms. It's not the term itself, it's in the relationship. So let's have a look a little bit further at this. So here I have various combinations of a much simpler little system. I've got book and I'm going to make an order. And this is just here to describe the different kinds of ways you could think about this, right? You could have a book and an order. So the book is ordered or the book has an order. You could have an order which contains a book. An order has, via composition, a book which is part of the order. You could book and have order as a command or a workflow in the orders list. So the orders list is purely a list of books, but the context is order. So therefore we understand that it's a list of books in an order. We could say book, order, book. And I've got book again. Now I've got move book. Book isn't it isn't a box. Bookshelf is a box. Basket is a box. Removing the book is an action. Maybe I'm mixing metaphors or mixing paradigms here. It's important to understand that you can address a design in all sorts of ways. And if you add them to this kind of complexity, this kind of relationship, and you add them into this kind of relationship, can you see how difficult and abstract and ambiguous things can become rather quickly? Let's go to the next one and the last one. If I'm using domain language, I might do something entirely different to that. I might say product item, line item, order, a sale from a device. I might choose not to use the word book or product item. I might say ISBN, change owner, an entirely different way of understanding and reasoning about that system. So in conclusion, paradigms are there for us to understand and reason about terms that really have no meaning. They are all ambiguous. It is not simply a case of saying, I'm going to use object-oriented programming and I'm going to use noun-verb, or I'm going to use some kind of modern way of thinking that I've watched on YouTube, and I'm just going to, that's what I'm going to do. And it's not as simple as just drawing boxes and putting names on because you understand what those names mean. There are many, many things, many layers to these levels of abstraction. Some words like actor and book just don't belong together. Some things like primary contact and actor could belong together. There could be a conceptual difference between these two terms. So it's important to understand that designing something is really understanding a paradigm, really understanding the domain language, really understanding the relationships between terms, the abstractions of those terms. The relationships and process and levels should be at the same level consistently throughout design. I hope that sort of broadened the picture for you a little bit. We're going to carry on more with things like this in the next episode. Hope you join in and subscribe to the playlist. Thanks for watching.